So we'll call the select board to order for Wednesday, June 24th, 2020. It's 4:04 p.m. Please rise for pledge allegiance. Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all. Well, he's disappeared. There he is. He wants to be. Hello. All right. Well, before we get into the other business, Lynn, you wanted to talk about the town meeting?
Sure. So Chris got back to me with the measurements. And with the measurements in the gym, we can fit 154 people. If we open it up into the cafeteria, we can fit an additional 60 people, which would give us a total of 214. I talked to Kathy Kelly Reagan and we went through the averages for the last several June meetings. And we had 254 in 2016, 214 in 17, 209 in 18, and only 90 last year. But the average, to average those all together, is 192 during a normal season. So I think having it indoor with only giving us 214 available seats is cutting it really close. As I told you last week, most of the towns are going over what they average. Although funny enough, last night Long Meadow only had about 299 people at theirs, and they normally get between 400 and 600. So it really is a wild guess for us. So if we have it outdoors, I do know that 100 by 140 tent, if we decide to get a tent, fits 221 people. We can get a smaller tent and then open up the overflow into the cafeteria. Like we can do a combination of indoor and outdoor. So I just need to get a feel of what you guys are thinking, I guess. If we do it outside, we can get professional speaker, a professional setup for mics. And I got a quote. The town of, I think it was Westboro, sent me their information. And for them, it cost $6,580 for the professional sound system and production. And they're out of Foxborough. I haven't talked to them. What?
What did that include, Lynn? The 6,500.
That was equipment, which would have been microphones and speakers, totaled 4,300, and labor was 2,200. I can find out in more detail when I call them. I just want to get a ballpark figure of how much it would cost for a sound system. Especially if we have it indoor and outdoor, we have to do something professional. And I thought Chris said that we'd be able to get reimbursed through COVID money.
I think that's what he's thinking.
So, yeah.
Yes.
I can contact Long Meadow also, because they also had a professional setup, and see who they used and what they paid. But I guess we need to decide if we want to have it indoors and outdoors and go from there. If we have it indoors in 2 rooms, I know that GCAM said that they can. He has ability to do a Zoom meeting, so I could see the people in the other room, in the other whether it's the cafeteria or the gym. I can see both, and I'd have to appoint an assistant moderator who could count when or tell me if somebody wants to speak.
If we were to hold it outside, where were you thinking? In the parking lot between the 2 schools?
Well, we could do that, definitely. And then we could actually probably open up the grassy area for people who want to stay in their cars. We could do it that way. So we could have maybe 200 chairs on the pavement. I mean, I don't know how big that pavement is. I'm assuming 200. So 200 chairs on the pavement. We don't have to have a tent. We could tell people to bring their own umbrellas if it's sunny out. And people who don't want to come out can sit in their car. I would just have to see their hands when they vote. And we have to somehow figure out how to use an AM channel so they could hear what was going on.
Okay.
Yeah, I know they tried to use an AM channel for the high school graduation, but I'm sure they just had some
It was a
technical difficulty. Yeah, but I'm sure it's easy enough to do.
People do it to their kids all the time.
Right.
I haven't been in the back of East Meadow lately, but is there a way to be in the middle of both the parking lot and then the where the old playground used to be, the blacktop of the playground? Could we set people up over there and then over in the parking lot, and then I'll be in the middle so I can see both sides?
They're quite a distance away from each other. If we're gonna set up in the parking lot between the two schools, the paved part of the playground is such a distance, you probably may not see them.
Oh, it's that far?
Yeah, it's that far.
All right. Well, so we could use the bigger parking lot between the two schools and then extend out into the grass. Kathy and I didn't think we'd get more than 300. That'd probably be the max. More than likely we'll get around more than 200, less than 300. So that's how we should prepare.
Okay.
So I guess when I'm looking at it, I'm thinking more, now the way they did the high school graduation, I thought that worked well. And I would say they probably had it set up for, I think it was like 57 students. There's probably another 30 individuals. So right there was 100. And there's still plenty of room.
Yeah.
And those chairs were spaced out 6 feet apart. And I would think easily that could be doubled up in that one area, not with cars. I'd rather keep people off the grass. And the only reason I say that is because of ticks and bugs and stuff like that. If it'll keep people on the pavement where it's flat, it's easier access for people to walk around, stuff like that. And if we get to the point where we need to have cars, they would be in the far back. And I'd recommend that I think we talked before about doing it on a Saturday.
Morning.
In the morning. I think, something like at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday would probably be the way to do it, because the longer the day goes on, if it's a hot day, that pavement's just gonna heat up, and that heat's gonna stay there all day.
Especially with the weather we've been having. Yeah. And at night, we're gonna get eaten by mosquitoes.
Yeah.
We could spray for mosquitoes. We could also give people bug spray if they need it. Other towns have been doing that. Other towns have people bring their own chair if they're going out. If they don't want to be on the pavement, they're allowed to sit in other areas with their own chairs or their own blankets if they want a picnic.
Yeah, I don't have a problem if that's someone's choice. If they want to do that and they can social distance correctly, I don't have a problem with that. I think what we need to set up so that people don't have to do that. But if they're willing to do that, I think that's great.
Some have had it on Saturdays and some have had it at night. And they usually start around 6 when it starts cooling down. All I know is that the people who've had it at night have not complained, have said there were no bugs. Maybe it's because we're in a drought right now and they're not out. I don't know. But this past week, that has not been a complaint whatsoever.
Right. My only fear is that the people that have been having it outside, I don't think anybody had it in the past week outside.
Yeah, well, not last night.
Last night they did?
Yeah.
Outside?
It was outside. She's the one that said there were no bugs.
And how many people showed up?
299. They had that in a football stadium, their Long Meadow High School football stadium. It was a big production.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they used the bleachers and everything there too.
No, they used bleachers. They used chairs. That also, actually, I don't know that for sure, but I know they had a lot of chairs. I have pictures and graphs of how they did it. You know, you have to go down this aisle and up that aisle, and there was 4 microphones in the front for people who oppose, people who don't oppose, people who have questions, and people who want to move the motion. It was it was much more than what we normally do.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, I guess at this time, we need to decide whether we want to have it indoors or outdoors.
I'm gonna go for that.
You think what?
Well, that's going to depend, I think, also, if we want to have it indoor or outdoor, I think as soon as they combine each other, because the dates can just as important.
No, I have it, my full deal are 27th.
The 27th, which was a Monday.
Which is a Monday, last Monday in July.
I still vote for the 25th of July, which is Saturday.
You don't think it'll be hot on a Saturday morning, any more hot than it would be on a Monday night at 6?
Yes, I think the morning is much cooler than it is during the day.
The humidity hasn't had a chance to set in yet.
We're talking the end of July, which is one of the hottest parts of the year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, you know, if you get a cool night the night before, and I say by cool, it's in the 50s, 60s, it'll be a nice morning, where that morning can end up, you know, that night can still be 85 degrees,
Mm-hmm.
5, 6 o'clock at night.
Well, I don't have any issue with Saturday. I know that other towns have tried to move their town meeting in general to Saturdays, and it hasn't gone over well. They get less attendance, which is funny. We think that we'd have more attendance, but the majority of towns do not keep it on Saturdays when they've tried it. But this is a different situation.
I want to keep it on a Saturday on a permanent basis, just for this one off.
Yep, we could do that.
I really wouldn't want to give up my Saturdays either. I get that. But in this case, I think people will make an exception.
And my concern too, if we do it outside at night, and say we start at, it's still warm at 6 o'clock, so if we start at 7, and it turns into be a later,
A 4-hour meeting.
you know, it's a 2-hour
Well,
meeting in the dark.
We would not have a 4-hour meeting with the consent agenda. And
No.
we haven't seen the articles yet, but I can't imagine it being a 4-hour meeting. I mean,
But even if-
most towns are getting it done in an hour. I think last night it was 2 hours for Long Meadow. And they had quite a few articles. I might have a detailed email. I haven't gone through the whole thing yet, but I wouldn't think it'd be longer than 2 hours.
My recommendation is the Saturday morning, the 25th. I think we do it at 9 o'clock. That'd be my recommendation. I think that'd have to make sure that would work for the company to set up.
And the school.
And obviously the school too, because they'd have to be there early to set up as well. But again, like I said, the school has all set up for graduation. And I thought it was a nice job. It was easy it wasn't hard to hear people. I talked to people after that were probably 3rd or 4 rows back in the cars, and they were hearing what was being said.
But what they use for microphones then? I mean, why don't we just not spend the money then and use what the high school used?
I think if we could, I think that'd be great. I mean, I don't know if that was theirs, it's something they rented or what, but it seemed to work out well. Like, you know, you heard the speeches and it seemed to go well. Like I said, I don't think we have an issue setting up that many seats there. I think that'd be fine. And again, if people want to come in at their own chairs and stuff like that and set up, you know, somewhere else or off to the side and things like that, I think that'd be fine too.
Who set that up?
I have no idea. You'd probably be best off talking to Stephen Sullivan, who's the principal.
Okay.
He would know exactly how it was done.
Hey, Jay, what are your thoughts?
I'll go along with Lynn. Need the people that's got to do the work I let them make the decision.
I'm not convinced that Saturday morning's the way to go. But if we have a majority of you think that, then I'm okay with that. But I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced it's going to be any cooler.
Well,
I can tell you, you just look at the temperature of a day. It's cooler in the morning than it is not at 6 o'clock at night.
would it be easier?
Example is today. It was cooler this morning. It will be.
Yeah.
But it cools down. It cools down pretty quickly at night.
Would it be easier if we took an informal poll
But-
of the town?
But Lynn, what I'm saying is that 6 o'clock at night isn't night. It's still day. The sun's still up and sun's still out.
Oh, no, I know because I'm outside. I'm either gardening or golfing, but it starts cooling down. It's not nearly as bad as it is during the day. However, how would you want to do a informal poll, Jen?
Even if we just jump on to Granby Town Meeting and Good News Granby and just say, hey, quick poll. Would you prefer to have town meeting on a Saturday morning or a evening?
Like, Facebook is not a public source.
About 1,500 town members. Granted, they do straddle both groups. But that would give us the general idea if people would come on a Saturday.
And I disagree with that because Facebook is not open to the public.
What was that say?
It's not open to the public. Well, it is, but not everybody is on there.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
you're gonna get a small sample. And I'm not even sure if those people come to town meeting.
So Lynn, I'm not. I can go either way. It's not like I'm fighting for Saturday. I'm just putting out
Yeah.
some of the that I think.
I'm trying to find a document that, I have a document that shows what towns are doing it when, and I can see how many are doing it on Saturday mornings. I just gotta find the document. I mean, if you guys think it's gonna go smoother, we'll try it Saturday morning. And, I mean, I don't think the bugs will be lesser in the morning than they are at night for certain.
Yep.
And also, it's always a possibility too that, in July, you get a lot of thunderstorms and things like that in the evening and the afternoon. So the morning sometimes will play a factor as well. So, but again, I'm not like stuck on a certain time or frame.
Okay, well, it sounds like we definitely want to do it outdoors. And do you want me to look into doing an overflow into the,
Outdoors, we shouldn't need an overflow.
Yeah, we can go up there and take a look at it. We can have someone go up there and take a look at it for us. I don't see a problem. I'm just basing off what I saw for the high school graduation.
There was a lot of space available.
Yeah, that's a big area.
Huge.
all right. I'll email Stephen Sullivan or call him and get an idea of how he did, what he did, and what he used. If you're telling me the speaker system was fine, I mean, Chris, we don't normally use the high school's microphones, right? When we have town meetings, we have our own.
Yeah, it hooks into the sound system that's in the gym.
But that's our microphones that we bring in, the towns, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
I think we should just use the gym. If there's an overflow or people with no mask, they can go to the cafeteria. Then we don't have to worry about the weather. Takes it out of the equation.
And that's fine. And Jay, if we do that and we get to the maximum 216, where are we going to overflow the net? We have a tent outside.
You do that too. I mean, you're gonna have some place for the people who are not gonna show up with masks.
Oh yeah, that's in general. People who don't have masks, we're going to have us, wherever we are, inside or outside, they'll be in an area for sure.
And then if you're outside, from what I've read and from MMA says, they're having issues with ADA compliance from having it outside. If the
What do you-
disability people have to use the restrooms or something, they don't have access.
No, we keep the schools open for them to go to the schools for the restrooms.
I just assumed.
I'm assuming we would do that. We keep the schools open so they can go to the bathroom. But I mean, that's the other way of looking at it. We have it in the gym, overflow in the cafeteria. I appoint an assistant moderator. We use GCam to set it up so I can see what's going on in the cafeteria and hear.
And anybody with no mask stays outside the tent.
Maybe. Or we put them somewhere inside.
Yeah, I don't know if we can do that.
You can't.
Yes, you
Yeah.
can.
If they have a health reason why they can't wear a mask, you have to keep them outside.
No, you can put them in a certain area within the rooms of the town meeting that you're holding.
Right. Okay.
But they have to be so many feet apart from everybody else.
Well, I think we're planning on having 6 feet apart anyways.
I still think outside is a better option for us right now.
Yeah. My only concern is kind of what you pointed to, Len, if we get over that 214 number, now we need to have another plan if that happens, because that's a possibility we need to prepare for.
I mean, I guess the other room, so Westboro did it indoors and they did it in their gym, in their auditorium, and they had one more room. I don't remember what it was. But we could go to the library, the high school library.
Yeah, I can also tell you too, the high school gym on Monday was extremely hot, extremely hot. And I'm saying it was probably in the upper 80s inside that gym. It was very warm in there.
Yeah, I don't know how they did it. I had a hard time wearing my mask long enough to vote because I felt like I was suffocating.
So, I mean, usually our town meetings are not in the middle of summer inside that gym.
Well, then we can always postpone town meeting to September, but then that's going to mean that you have to approve a budget 1/12 and then 1/12.
Every month.
Yeah, and I know that's something Chris doesn't really want to do, nor do I want to do that. I think if we have the opportunity to do our budget, then we do our budget.
Yeah, but we can't do our budget until we know what we have. We have to have some known data before we do our budget. And right now, there's no known data out there.
Well, the only data we're really missing is from the state right now.
Well, that's half the money that we get for the town.
Well, Chris has asked, he's been in contact, that's why they're looking at, he's asked the departments to plan for a 2% or 5% cut, just based on the information that he's receiving.
And on today's MMA thing, they said all 3 budgets to put out in January, the governor, the House, and the Senate have all been scrapped. The governor's not going to do a new proposed budget. He's leaving it up to the legislative and the House to come up with it. He's out of the equation. He'll just sign what they do.
Oh, that's his choice.
That's right. And he's on a
balanced budget, so that
the
hasn't changed.
state's on a 1/12 budget right now.
Well, you always can approve a minimal budget with the knowledge that you could convene again in a special town meeting to up it if we get more money than we anticipated.
Right.
You're right, 100% right, Len, but we got some budgets like the school that are governed by law. And we don't know what they're going to be.
Well, all these other towns are having their town meeting now. I mean, there's probably been 8 or 9 towns in the past week that had their town meeting and gone through their budgets and approved it. So they're taking the plunge.
Well, again, I think first of all, I think it's important that we do the town meeting. I think we just need to decide whether or not we want it inside or outside, and then go with the date and start planning accordingly, because I think it's something we need to decide today.
I vote for outside. There's no overflow issue.
Like I said, and I could be persuaded either way, because I'm not locked in either way. But what do I like more? I like the idea of being outside in the morning. And again, I'm comparing that to what we saw or I saw it at the high school for the graduation. I
Yeah.
think it'll.
The only advantage of having it inside, you don't need a rain date.
If it is gonna rain, then we have to postpone until the next day or the next week. The weather has to operate. Unless we have a tent.
Right, and if we can figure out a way to do it, so right now, with the cafeteria and the gym, you have 214. So we need to figure out the other option, which would be if there is an overflow, and, I think we need to.
If you, as I said before, I don't see any issue with opening up the library in the high school for the overflow, so you have 3 indoor rooms. However, I would need 2 assistant moderators to do that. Whereas if you put a tent outside a small tent outside the cafeteria, whoever's assistant moderating in the cafeteria could probably moderate outside too.
And so it also, if we do it inside, that's also putting a price tag on it as well.
There's a price tag no matter what you do.
What do you mean? What's the price tag indoor?
Well, it's at least the 6,500, right?
No, that's for outdoor.
That's for outdoor.
Right.
But what will be cost to do indoor? Because you're gonna have to.
Well, that's what I'm sure GCAM. Well, I'm not sure, but I know that I talked to Alex, and he can finagle something between the rooms. And if he can't, he knows other access community channels that probably know how to do it and can help us.
Would we still need to have a speaker system if we do the overflow tent?
Outside?
Still have to hear it.
They'd still have to hear it. So we would still be needing to rent the equipment either way, I'm assuming.
I mean, I don't know what we have at the high school for equipment that'll how it works in the school, and if you can hear it. It would be right outside the cafeteria, right? It'd be right like where the picnic table is, so that whoever's moderating in that room can see both ways.
I don't know if that's a good space. It's uneven ground. There's a tree there.
Then
You almost have to probably set it up in the parking lot on the flat surface.
we had an overflow set up at one point for the seminary. When we voted on the seminary, there was an overflow tent set up outside, and it was cafeteria, gym, and overflow tent. I just don't know where that tent was.
I want to say it was out back behind the gymnasium, out that back door.
Oh,
And that's interesting. That's something you could do where you're right off that back door.
But you still need a decent tent to keep people 6
Yeah.
feet apart.
Right.
Which means.
well, a tent that's 40 by 80 fits 80 people.
So that gets you up to close to 300.
Is that 80 people
6 feet apart. Yep.
Okay.
Another Hatfield did theirs 40 by 80. And the tent would be the last resort. Like we'd have to put people in the first 2 rooms that are indoor, and then if more people came, we'd overflow them in the back.
But what if someone wants to sit outside in a tent, doesn't want to come inside?
Well, we say until we have the overflow, we're not going out into the tent, because that causes, that's for overflow. That's for emergency situations.
Okay.
I mean, all that can be ironed out later. We can discuss how to deal with that. People that just don't want to follow the procedure.
Well, let's get the date set first.
Well, it depends. If you want it indoors or outdoors, it depends on the date too. They go hand in hand.
I don't see why we couldn't pick the date and then decide if we're doing it indoors or out, either way.
Well, if we pick the date, 27th, that's a Monday.
Correct.
And we kind of said if we do it outdoors, we'd rather do it in the morning.
Yeah. And if we keep it indoors, I'd keep it the same. What we do. Yeah.
The normal.
Or we can even, no, I might do it a little earlier because if we do have that overflow, although it stays late until about 9.
And I'm also wondering too, with people, how comfortable they're gonna be inside a indoor event.
Stale air.
You know, just regardless if you have a mask on and stuff like that. I understand that, but sometimes how comfortable they're gonna be being inside with that many people too.
Well, but you're 6 feet away.
No, and I hear you, Lynn, but everybody's comfort level is different.
What, could we put fans in the, blowing out?
Yeah. Well, I think you're gonna need fans in there because it's gonna be warm. But that's my fear is that, you know, if it's the same type of weather we just had Monday or we're having this week, it was extremely warm in there, extremely warm.
If it's the same type of weather that we had this week, it's gonna be brutal indoor or outdoor.
She's right.
Brutal in the morning.
Right.
What?
There's a difference if it's 70 degrees in the morning
Yep.
versus 85 degrees inside. So,
And there's a very good breeze that blows through that parking lot. So the air moves. It's hot, but it's oppressive.
I remember too, the day of the graduation, it was probably in the middle 60s, low 70s. And that afternoon, it got awfully warm too. It was in the 80s, upper 80s. So, but, Len, I mean, what do you think is going to work the best? I mean, go there.
Are you asking me? I didn't hear you.
I am.
Oh,
Yeah.
what do I think would work best?
Saturday, 9 a.m.
I like Saturday 9 a.m.
Saturday, 9 a.m. Just do it.
Who's talking?
Chris,
Chris,
Oh, did you say do it Saturday at 9 a.m.?
that's what he said, yes.
Outdoor or indoor?
outdoor.
So we're gonna do it all new. That's fine. I have no issue with that. It's just all, you know, it's gonna be all new. At least if you keep it indoors, there's some familiarity of what we're doing. But if you do it outdoor, it's one moderator, get a sound system, and go for it.
So would you rather do it Saturday morning indoors?
The day doesn't really, no.
Yeah,
I don't
and
care.
I mean, not accomplishing anything. The only thing that would benefit you if it rains out.
Yep.
That's the only thing that's going to help out with. It's not going to help out with space. I look at, you know, we get plenty of space outdoors. You don't have to worry about overflow. It's not going to be an issue. Everybody's in the same area.
If it rains, we can get a tent. I mean, that's the other option. You get a tent, regardless.
Right.
And then we're covered in case it rains.
We could do that too. We'll know, you can watch the weather the week, you know, that Monday. And if you know you need a tent, we can order a tent for that Saturday.
Oh, I don't know. Can you get a tent that quickly? I mean, no, what I was saying was get a tent regardless. Get a tent, put it outside, put the chairs under the tent.
Oh, okay.
Put people in cars. I mean, I got to see the space, but if people want to stay in their cars, they have to be in the back. But that, again, requires a sound system.
Yeah, like I said, if the we find out what the school used, if it's their own equipment or they rented it, I don't think we need anything much more than what they have to do it outside.
No, the sound is very good.
All right, well, let's do it. Let's make a decision. Let's do it outside.
So we do Saturday the 25th, July 25th at 9 a.m.
Sure.
Let's do
I'm a
that.
night person. I prefer night, but I'm okay. I'll defer to you guys. You're the select board. It's your meeting.
You don't have to sit around all day waiting to go.
And then you can go golfing after.
Yeah, no.
Now you come back.
All right. Well, why don't we do that? I think Jen likes that idea. I'm okay with it. Jay, you're gonna just go with whatever Lynn wanted.
Well, Jay, and you're okay with the fact if it, you were worried about rain, we can see the cost, get the cost estimate up for a tent and then take care of that problem.
I would say, excuse me, just pick if you want 9 a.m. Saturday the 25th, fine. There's no reason to pick inside or outside right now.
Well, there is, because that's 4 weeks away and we've got to get, I mean, there's a lot of details that we have to work out, like the seating and making sure that we have masks and we have microphone being wiped down, and there's all sorts of COVID issues we have to deal with.
Oh, I understand that. I did the school and all the other ones. But I mean, our rain date could be moved inside, but you guys, whatever you want. And to me, it's immaterial almost. Pick a date that's comfortable for the people and let's move on to something else.
Well, so the date's going to be the 25th then, Saturday morning at 9 a.m. It's just that we need to decide if we're indoor or outdoor now.
I'm sorry, Lynn, did you say we now have to decide indoor or outdoor?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Glenn wants it outdoor.
I vote outdoor.
Well, the only reason I say outdoor, because now, overflows don't become an issue. That's the only reason. And if you're thinking the possibility of 300 people might show up for the town meeting, but again, if there's not anything that's really controversial in the town meeting, a lot of people may not show up.
Yeah.
They think it's just
Yeah.
We run that risk whether we have it indoors or out. That's
Right.
not even a factor, really.
Yeah.
We have time now.
We'll try. I think if we just plan outdoors, kind of what Jay said too, if we see the weather and they're predicting rain, we go inside. We still have a tent. We have a tent in the back, and GCAM can make it work for us.
There was a town that just had their town meeting a couple nights ago, and they expected 100 people, and they got 80 people more than they expected, and they were scrambling, but people were fine. They went outdoor, they stood outdoor, and, they did what they had to do to get the meeting to work, which is, I think, what we have to realize. We're going to do the best we can do, and whatever happens. We can,
I say we look at the 25th at 9 a.m. We plan for it outside. If it's going to be raining out or something like that, we always have the option to move it inside. And like I said, with GCAM will be able to help out. They said they could do that. So we'll know maybe a week before, so if we need to plan that way, and we will. The other side, like I said, at the school, for outside, whatever they have for a sound system, if they have it, we can use it, great. If we have to rent one, I don't see it being that much, because it looked like they had, a few speakers and a couple microphones.
Almost a simple DJ.
Yeah.
what'd you say, Jen?
I said almost like a simple DJ setup.
Yeah. But, you guys have to start thinking too, once we see the warrant, I suggest one of you make all the motions, or I can make all the motions as the moderator. Going back and forth between 3 people and having to clean the microphone will take up too much time.
I
Yes, I
completely
agree.
with that.
Yep. That's fine.
Well, okay, so I'll send an email or call Steve tomorrow and get the ball rolling on all this. I have no idea about the tent, who to call. Does someone else want to take on that responsibility?
I'll call Taylor Rental and see. What size tent are we looking at, Lynn?
Oh, well, I have no idea how big's that parking lot. Like, how many people? We know that a tent that's 100 by 140 fits 221 people safely. That's
That's right, yeah.
Every day is no different.
Saturday, I'll leave.
Well, how many people do we need to fit underneath the tent? Because if, like I said, if we're talking about rain and we're going inside, then how much, we may just need a smaller tent to be outside, because if we're talking about rain comes, we're gonna move it inside. We probably just need a smaller tent that could be off the back doors of the gym, that people can be there, they have access to the gym. And
So, okay, so you're thinking of a tent in the event we have rain,
yeah,
as opposed to a tent during the day, during the regular meeting if it's outdoors.
yes.
Oh, well, a small tent that's, like you'd have a party in your backyard. I mean, what's the overflow gonna be? If you get, a 40 by 80 tent's gonna fit 80 people.
100 by 40.
Yeah. So 100 by 40 is a big tent.
But it would fit all of us.
No,
We could
that's
sit under it regardless. People wouldn't be in the sun.
100 by, no, because she was saying, Lynn, what size did you say the tent was that's held 80?
40 by 80 holds 80 people.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard
Yeah.
that was 40 by 40.
No.
100 by 140 fits 221. So there have been towns that have done their outdoor meeting under a tent, and that's the size tent they used. And they estimated 221 people coming, or that's how many they fit under the tent.
I guess I'm okay if you want to have a tent, so it's blocking, taking people out of the sun and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
if it's gonna rain out, I don't really want people outside. Or a tent.
As long as there's no lightning.
Well, but those are things that are real. Those are things you can start
no,
doing.
if there's lightning, we'd have to call the meeting.
Yeah,
Right, exactly.
I would definitely call the meeting. If it's rain, I mean, someone had rain, well, people can bring umbrellas. If you don't want to get a tent, you can bring umbrellas. Another town did that. But those are real small towns that are doing that. They're sitting on the town common on picnic blankets, with their umbrellas up. Which we
So
can
either
do.
way, we can rent a tent and have the tent outside.
Yep,
There's a difference between, light showers or,
Yep.
raining and the wind's picking up and it's driving the rain and stuff like that. But I think we have the date, July 25th at 9 a.m. We'll start making plans and have it outdoors. And then we'll look on the forecast for Monday, and if we need to make arrangements to bring it inside, we could do that. And with an overflow tent, we could figure this out.
That's fine. I personally prefer outdoors under a tent. I'd get a
Okay.
big tent for everybody.
Yep.
I mean, I can certainly call Taylor Rental if that's who you would go through to get a tent that fits 220 people, but that's only, 6 more than what we could fit indoor.
Well, that's if everybody wants to be underneath the tent. Everybody may not want to be underneath the tent. And I would imagine not everybody's going to be one. I mean, some people, like you said, may just sit off to the side. As long as they can hear, they're fine. We
Yeah.
can set up different sections that people can sit in. I mean, you don't want them all over the place, because when it comes time to counting and stuff like that, if need be, you don't want to be looking all over the place for people.
All right. So
It's just an hour and a half to get through the meeting.
we'll go outdoors on the 25th at 9 a.m. under a tent that fits about 220 people, 220, 250, whatever. I don't know how big tents come, but
Yeah.
I'll start with 100 by 140 because that's what I understand fit 221 people. And then what else? Am I missing something? Oh, I'll call the principal for the sound system. Anything else?
That's
I
it.
think that's it.
We just got to work out with the school as far as the bathrooms. It should really be an issue.
Just put a request in.
Yep.
All right, I'll send an email out to you guys once I get
Okay.
some.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions?
I don't. Lynn?
None from me.
Jay?
No.
Jay?
Excuse me, I have a couple
I'll go
questions. I'm
again.
here from the Sentinel and the Town Reminder.
Where are you from?
The Belchertown Sentinel and the Town Reminder.
Okay.
So I was just curious, what is the quorum size for the town meeting?
40.
And that hasn't been lowered?
No, we don't think there's gonna be a problem to get 40 people.
Gotcha. And has the warrant articles been limited to strictly financial items, or is it still the full gambit?
A quorum's 30.
30?
Okay.
The quorum's 30, yeah.
Gotcha.
What's that?
This is a full one.
Full warrant.
Okay. And have the articles been finalized yet?
No.
Not yet. Okay. That's it for me. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I just got a message from Kevin O'Grady that said one of the students' fathers provided the sound. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I'll take care of that.
Yeah, even so, if we, like you said, even if we need to rent it, it wasn't,
It was through a company called Orange Sound.
yeah, it was, yeah. I think it's something that we can do.
Okay. All right. So I'll get back to you guys with some sort of summary
Okay.
of what we talked about.
You got this. Come on.
Yeah, we'll make it work. We'll do it fine.
All right, so then I don't need an assistant moderator because we're gonna have everything outdoor.
Okay.
And you don't want to go with the car's sound system.
You know, if we don't have to, I'd rather not. If we just keep people where we need to keep them. If people want to stay in the cars, I'd say we put them on a further distance back.
And they roll the window down.
Yeah.
All right,
Unless it's inexpensive and not hard to do, then we can do the radio thing.
I'd have to talk to whoever the sound system person is. I mean, I don't know what the issue was with the high school. Nobody, the other towns that are doing it through their radio station, no one said they had issues or problems.
Yeah, they planned to do it, but there were some issues that they had, so they didn't end up doing it, but it seems like it might be something enough to do. They planned on having it to do it, but whatever happened, something happened, they couldn't do it, so.
Well, and
Meaning
the other issue is how to get this information out to the townspeople. So once we finally decide what we're actually doing, if we are going to allow people to sit in their car, we probably need to send out a note card or something to the town, to everybody in town saying, this is when town meeting is, it's going to be a little different this year. I mean, I could make something to put on the Granby Town website that says, this is what you can expect.
There's we can do the robocalls as well.
Yeah.
We could contact the 2 local papers as well. Something we place in the papers.
Your GCAM is the resource.
Yeah.
All right. Just that's going to be different, so we should warn people beforehand what to expect.
Right, and we have local stores and stuff like that, businesses in town, and we can ask if we can post up the information in there for people, so people see it. And
Well, I don't know if people are really going out to see that, but we can put that on the.
I see a lot of people that come on farms every day when I drive by, so.
All right, so I'll put something together and I'll get back to you in the next couple of days so we can start really moving on this. And I'll talk to Kathy Kelly Reagan.
Well, thank you.
Thank you,
Yep.
Lynn.
Thank you. See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. I think it's away that week. All right, moving forward. That's right. But I think everything, weather's good and stuff like that. And I think it'll go through quick. I think we should have a good day. All right. Want to approve and sign off for fiscal year 20 transfers? Chris, you want to go over this, please?
All right, what I did is I went through what's currently available in various categories as we go to town meeting, personal services, expenses, and capital. Looked at what we spent to date, what we are projected to spend through the end of the year. And I came up with a list of about a dozen transfers that are required to cover any shortfalls in our current budgets. And all we are doing is moving money from one departmental budget to another department. We aren't taking any money out of free cash, we're not doing anything of that nature, we're just shifting money that was going back at the annual town meeting. In June of last year.
Yeah, so there's no additional funds from anywhere, it's just, sorry, money that's been approved and allocated, just different areas.
Yes, we're just moving it around.
Okay.
First one is from snow and ice expense to the selectmen personal services, $6,500. The next one is from snow and ice expense to the town clerk capital, $1,140. From public buildings personal services to public buildings expense, $14,000. Town accountant personal services, police personal services, $10,869. From snow and ice personal services to fire personal services, $45,000. Snow and ice road expenses to fire capital, $8,000. Selectmen expense to dealer waste expense, $729. Snow and ice expense to emergency management expense, $7,501. Snow and ice road to highway capital, $3,433. From snow and ice road to snow and ice capital, $1,678. COA personal services to cemetery personal services, $1,000. Snow and ice personal services to library personal services, $635. Short-term debt interest to health insurance, $20,000. Town insurance to health insurance, $13,000. County retirement to health insurance, $18,000. Workers' compensation to health insurance, $60,000. Snow and ice road to health insurance, $41,000. And from, should be from reserve fund to ambulance personal services, $62,000. Now, the first one of $6,500 has to do with what was voted at the last selectmen's meeting. Cover the cost of buying out people's unused vacation time,
Right.
and to allow the $1,400 stipend to any employees who reported to work in essential services. Okay, both full-time and part-time. The second one for $1,140 has to do with when the town clerk purchased her new dog licensing program. There was an annual maintenance fee that wasn't budgeted, and our budget covered the cost of that. Public buildings expense of $14,000. This year has been a bad year. Seems like everything's been breaking. We've had a lot of issues with air conditioning systems at both the library and the public safety complex, try and get things working properly. We've had issues with, I believe even here we had some issues with the AC and the heating, and it's just been a bad year. It's just like, this was the year that everything decided to go. We had a new maintenance person start, and you got his.
Okay.
Well, let's park on the course. It's 2020. Come on.
Yep. The $10,869, that has to do with a buyout from a person, an employee who went out in retirement at the police station, that was purchasing out, buying out their unused vacation. They're allowed, because they went into a retirement, authorized retirement system, buying out, they're allowed sick time for the contract and do that.
Right.
Okay. The $45,000 fire personnel services, part of that has to do with COVID, and it also has to do with, there was a new contract that was signed halfway through the fiscal year that wasn't budgeted. We signed the contract with the IAFF, and I think it was December or January of this fiscal year, and that was part of the contract. We're associated with the contract.
Are the COVID expenses reimbursable?
We got some money back, the 27,000 that I put in, that's already been paid.
Oh, okay.
I am now applying to FEMA for the 75% reimbursement, and that's the process.
Okay.
Okay, so, but that won't make it by this fiscal year, that'll probably come in. Okay. Fire capital of 8,000, it was just, he had purchased more items than what had been budgeted. The $729 per sealer of waste is, we have an annual cost of usually $2,700 a year for the sealer weights of Northampton and almost services for us. However, they negotiated a new contract with their sealer, and it cost us $729 more than what we had budgeted. Emergency management expense, $7,501. That has to do with COVID-related expenditures. Highway capital of $3,433. We had budgeted a $5,000 to replace tires on one of the payloaders. Price came in higher than what we had anticipated, so we're going to cover those costs. The snow and ice capital, $1,678. We had put out a bid for a new sander for one of the large dump trucks. It came in more than what we have available in the accounts, so we're just moving money for the difference in what we have in the account versus what we had. The cemetery personal services of $1,000. That has to do with, we're going to have a shortfall in the preventive care account against our institution. So therefore, I'm putting money for the library personnel services, $635. When we get to the end of the year, they work extra hours on like Tuesday. They don't work set hours all the way through the week. So I have to make those that were anticipated when we have to budget. I just look at number of days per year, actually number of hours per week. I don't look at Monday versus Tuesday versus Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Okay.
So I need $635 to take care of that. Under health insurance, the total of all those comes to $152,000. I had more people sign up for health insurance for the town. A lot of companies now are allowing spouses to, private companies are allowing spouses to be on their spouse's insurance. So they get rid of a lot of the family plans. So a lot of people came to our, this is coming down. And so they're now coming into our program. In addition to that, we also had more we paid out for our tax benefit FICA and Medicare because of some of the contract that we signed and the school settled with a couple of their unions, and that caused a larger amount to have to be paid out than what was anticipated. And the $62,000 for the ambulance personal services, a lot of that, about 30,000 of that relates to the COVID between March and June for the additional coverage that we had on because we brought in one additional person during the day, just in case we were going to have any large, send out the more responses for projected, unanticipated cases related to COVID. And that too is being applied for FEMA to try and get some of that money back, and hopefully we'll get this back in 2021. We need to cover the shortfall.
Can I go back to the 8,000 going to fire capital? You said more was purchased than we budgeted.
Yep.
Do we know what and why?
Some of it had to do, the why I know because the chief is available.
Correct.
The people who are filling in do not know why that happened. But some of it had to do with hose purchase and some of it had to do with personal protective equipment, basically fire uniform, the jacket, the pants, the boots, things like that.
Okay, so I guess we just have to wait for why.
Yes.
Okay.
Jay, you have any questions?
No, it's something we gotta pay. We do it every year. So let's just move on.
Well, then I will make a motion to approve the transfers as read by Chris.
Is there a second to Jen's motion?
I didn't hear a motion, but I'll second it, whatever it was. She's coming in broken.
I'll let Jen repeat it so you hear it.
I assume it's about doing this budget.
I move to approve the transfers as read by Chris Martin.
I second it.
Yeah. Is there any further discussion at this time? Okay, not at this time. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Kathy, there's 3 ayes. We can't see everybody. All right.
Under the action items, the usage information, I can't get into the unit at the East Meadow School. I've been in touch with Acuity. They say that they can't find, they can't see the unit on the network. I tried logging in through my VPN to get over there to try and read it. Can't find the site, can't find the site. Acuity is going there, I think he said either this week or next week, and he's gonna look into it while he's there to see if he can figure out why I can't access it.
Yeah.
The other item, update on EV chargers at the COA. I included the board in an email I sent to Sejal at DEP. She responded that the charger here was installed in November of 2017. And the program that was installed under, which is more like a town employee type of availability, that we can at any point in time, if we want, put a credit card unit on this machine here to be able to allow people to be able to use it and be charged for usage of the
That's good.
Now, the other issue is I also did go out and get the prevailing wage rates for a contract period of July 1 through August 18th. That was forwarded to Jay for him to forward to the electrician, as I don't have his email handy. Jay has it.
And I did forward it to Ron.
Okay.
And just so the board knows, the 1/12 spending plan that was approved at the last board meeting has been approved by the state.
Oh,
Great.
nice.
Perfect.
And the $100,000 shortfall that we deficit spending that we requested also at 2 meetings ago, that's been approved by the state. So,
Good.
all our stuff is in place, though, if we have to, we can spend what we can.
It's good. That's very good. Yeah. So we can do business, not as usual, but we can do business.
We can do business. Nothing as usual.
Right. All right. Anybody have anything else? Jay, you have anything? No?
Nope.
Jen?
Nope.
Chris?
Not at this point.
Kathy? All right. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will move to adjourn.
I'm sorry, one more quick question before you folks adjourn. Did the board reorganize?
No, we did not. We'll be doing that at our first regular scheduled meeting in July.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Is there a second to Jen's motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor at this time?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Thank you, folks. Have a good night.
Good night.
Jay, happy birthday.
Thank you.